If you have seen this amazing animation and you were interested in how to make it, you're in luck, because today I'm going to show you how I recreated it in Davinci Resolve. So here's my version.
3 main pillars on how I managed to go full-time with video editing in just 6 months, and what I would do if I had to start from zero.
Okay, I just want to say that all the assets that I've used will be available to download down in the description if you want to recreate it for yourself. Okay, let's just jump right into Fusion. Now that we're in Fusion, this is what it looks like. Okay, but don't be scared, it's really not that difficult. We are going to be working in 3D space, as you can see here on the right side. We have our 3D space, so let's just break down a bit by bit. Okay, so first we just have a basic background here, just leave it at black, then we add a render 3D and then just connect it to the media out. These are all After Effects, so we'll come back to that later. Okay, next we need a merge 3D, so you just add a merge 3D, it's right here, and then connect the camera to it. Let's start with the first background, that background that's behind, as you can see with this one. Okay, how did we make it? Well, first we just added a background in with these colors, if you wanna copy the exact colors that I used, and then we added the vignette to it, and these are the vignette settings. Then we added a grain, and these are the grain settings if you want to use them. Then on top of that we merged just a fast noise, which looks like this, but when it's merged over it gives that like smoky feel to the entire scene. Then again we merged another vignette over it, so we made all of the unseen stuff more darker, so these areas are more dark, so they blend quite nicely with the different background that we have below. And then it's just connected on the image plane, so it's in the 3D space. Everything you do, you have to connect to the image plane, so you can connect it to the merge 3D, because if it's not connected to the image plane, then it won't show on your 3D camera. Okay, these are the settings for the image plane. I just adjusted the scale and moved back just slightly. Okay, let's go to the second background. It's this color here. I think it's the same color, so yeah, you can copy it if you want. Then we have a grid right here. These are the grid settings if you want to copy them. I put the blend down, and then we just have a rectangle which looks like this, but it just so it fades out the ends of the grid. Here are the rectangle settings if you want to copy them too. Okay, then it just has a vignette over it. These are vignette settings for this one. You can copy them too. And then we just have grain over it again. These are the settings for the grain. And again, it just connected to the image plane, as you can see, just so it's in 3D space. And these are the settings for the image plane. And then it just merged over to merge 3D. Okay, next, let's add our merge 3D in the viewport. As you can see here, we have this silhouette of a man, so let's see what's that all about. It's on this side, and this is just a PNG of a man. Next we added like this glow around him. And how did we do that? Well, we just added a background node with this color here if you want to copy it. Then I just made a polygon mask around the edges of our PNG. So here just went around the polygon and just added the points and created a mask. But if you can see, if we do this, now it just has like this outline. But if we disconnect it from the merge mask, this man PNG, it would actually look like this. But why do we connect it to the merge mask? Because if we connect it to the merge mask, that it just creates a limit for our mask, so it creates kind of like an outer mask. The polygon on this background is like the inner mask. As you can see, this is the inner mask, and the PNG connected to the merge is just like the outer mask. So when we add this in, it just looks like this. Okay, then same, we just placed it on the image plane, so it's in 3D space. I think I didn't touch anything. No, I added a transform 3D, and these are the settings for the transform 3D for the man part. Next, we have this big tree up here, and that's just a pillar. As you can see, it's a pillar with the basic transform, and the transforms are in. So transforms are here with these settings. So it's 0.03 on the Y keyframe on the third keyframe, and then on 65th it just goes to the full length. And we have it set up like that, so it comes out from under this rectangle mask that we have. So it just goes from below to the up. So when it's animating in the 3D space, it looks like it's coming out of the ground. So as you can see here, it comes out of the ground just like this. And when it starts coming out, we have this like smoke here. This is that here. I just grouped it, so it's just a green screen of a smoke that I found on YouTube. And then we have a delta here to key out the greens. As you can see, then we have a slight color corrector, and here we have global ins and out. Because it's the full video, I just didn't cut it out in the edit page, I cut it out here. So these are the settings for this one. It starts on the frame 4, and it just doesn't matter when it ends, because on the video it ends before this frame. So then we trim it down 15 frames, because that's when it starts in the video. After the 15th frame, it just starts happening. And we have this rectangle mask on the merge of the green screen that looks like something like this, but when you show it here, it's actually just so it won't really show over this pillar when it's going out. So as you can see now, it kind of looks like the explosion is happening in front of it and behind it. And if we didn't have this rectangle mask, it would just be over it like this, and it wouldn't really look nice in my opinion. So I just created this rectangle mask here. Okay, here we have like this displays with fast noise. I tried to do something, but it doesn't really matter, so we're gonna delete that. Doesn't change a thing about anything. So yeah, I just forgot to delete it out. So after that, we are just connected to the image plane, so it's in view. As you can see, it's in 3D view. Then it's connected to the transform 3D. Let's see the image plane settings. Just the Y settings is changed to 0.055. Then we have a transform 3D here, and that's just to spin it around a bit. So here it's a rotation on Y-axis. It has a little bit of adjustment on the X translation, and then you uncheck lock X, Y, and Z on the scale and just make these settings like here, and then it's just merged on the merge 3D right here. So then you just copy everything 2 more times and just connect it from this pillar PNG, and then you have 3 pillars. We have this transform here, and it just the exact same transform as in the last one. It just moved to the frame 41, so it starts at frame 41. So when we go to the keyframes on this transform, you have this, just open it out, and in the first transform, as you can see, it started way back on the frame 4. Then you just open the next transform, and whenever you want it to start, you just select the keyframes and just move them, as I did here, to frame 41. And then for the third one, I just moved everything to start from frame 72. Okay, next we have this image plane. These are for the second the pillar in the middle. These are the settings if you want to copy them. And for the last one, these are the same settings right here. Then we have transform 3D for the middle one. These are the settings. Setting is keyframe. You can just set the exact same values, and as well as the third pillar, we have these these settings. You can just copy them. Okay, so when we get this animation of our pillar going up like this, as you can see. So now we have this text over here. Let's add another. Okay, we just have this text over here with the keyframes on the right on. So at this frame 20, it doesn't have anything written on frame 36. It's keyframe to and the right on. This is what it says on how I managed to go. And then we have this rectangle, as you can see here, that just animates on it. So we make it disappear with this rectangle on frame 45. These are the settings. We have soft edge and just keyframe the center, and as it goes it just makes it disappear, as you can see here, and it's clicked on invert. So yeah, then we just have some grain now over everything, and then everything is in 3D plane. So as you can see, we have it here, and the image plane settings are these. Here we just have keyframes on opacity in the image plane. So on frame 21 it's not shown at all, and on frame 24 we have full opacity. So it just spawns in like this, and then it just goes over and goes back. And if you are interested in how it's moving like this, it's because of the camera, and I'm gonna show it later. So next, down below we have different text with the same copy rectangle mask, and I just instanced the grain. So if I wanted to change it, it would change for every single one of them. If you want to instance it, you just click copy it. So Control and C, and then you can paste it with, as you can see here, paste instance. Go right click, paste instance, or click Control Shift V, and you can paste instance and just in the timeline. Our next text is here. It's not showing now, but here it will show. So here are the image play settings. So nothing is keyframed here. Let's go to the third text. We have it here. Let's see where it is. When does it start? It starts right over here, and here it is. So let's see it in the viewer. Okay, so it just writes on, same effect with every single one of these. I just copied them over and pasted them again, except the last one. The last one is different. So again, how did I make them start at different times? Let's say here, let's select all of the first ones and go to keyframes, and they actually start at frame 20. So let's go to the second one and see where this one starts. When it's opened, it starts at frame, what's the frame? Frame 47. So just again, you go, you select everything, and you can move it wherever you want, like that. On the third one, again, just open everything, and these are the frames. It starts on frame 76, and here we have additional Z offset because I tried to do something. As you can see here, it's just stationary, it's just a camera moving, and after the frame 105 I just keyframe the Z. As you can see, I just keyframe the Z translation, so it moves back just a little bit and then it disappears. And these are the image plane settings for all of them. So on the first one, we have keyframe opacity, and these are the settings. On the second one, we don't have keyframe opacity because it starts off screen. So these are the settings for the transform. And in the third one, these are the settings. On the first frame, let's go, it starts on this number, and then just on the second frame it ends on something like this 3.11972. It's just a random number. So yeah, and let's get all the way back. We have this 0 coming in, as you can see, text here, there's the 0, and these are the settings for it. Then just in the shading tab, we have a red outline, and we have the basic color, and this is the color for the 0 if you want to copy it. So here we just have keyframe the opacity from frame 153, bring it all the way back to 0, and then on frame 160 I just brought it all the way up to 1, and same with the red outline. So you just click on the number 2 in select elements, and you have this red outline that is keyframed here. So 156 it's on 0, and 160 it's all the way full. So we get this a little bit of this red outline, so it's a lot cooler in the final version. Then we have glow on it. So these are the settings for the glow. As you can see, when we add them, it just looks like this. So you can copy that too. That is just the image plane right behind everything here. So when we put the merge in like here, you can see everything from this perspective. So let's see now how the camera actually moves. Let's make this bigger. So let's go to the beginning. Camera is right here in front of this guy, but just standing there. So we don't see it in the output. And then it starts slowly going back. As you can see, now he is coming into frame here as the camera is panning out. And the first text is right here in front of him, as you can see. So it just pans out more back. It starts showing more and more of the guy. Then it goes to the left, as you can see, and the next text is right in front of him. So it goes there, pans out even more, and then this text jumps in. So let's see where it starts. As you can see, it's here, and it just starts writing on. So now we pan out even more, and this is already out. Then we have the 0 spawning in behind the pillars and everything else, except that's this last background. So it looks something like this. If it's easier to show you in the 3D window, if you want to see the positions of the text also, I can show you. So this is the first position of the text, this is the second position, and then the third position should be right around here. Yeah, it is. So if it's easier for you to see the things all the way in the 3D view, you can see it here. So it looks something like this. Then we have this color change and everything else that I will show you in a minute. Okay, so let's go over camera settings. So this camera settings, I have it set up like this. So just set your vertical focal length to 50, and the angle of view will just automatically set itself to this. So I didn't do any animation in the camera's transform. I added a transform 3D node. So these are transform 3D node keyframes. On the frame 0, we have keyframe X translation, Z translation, and Y rotation. So Z translation starts with 2.5, so keep that in mind. And on the last frame of the animation, these are the settings. So minus 0.217 for X translation and 4.81 for Z translation and minus 2.6 for Y rotation. Okay, those are the camera settings. So just go to the first frame, keyframe all of these that you see, and then go to the last and keyframe them again and just put in these values. Okay, so now we have these After Effects. So this is the render 3D, so we can now go to the one view and let's put in render 3D. So it just looks like this without any After Effects. Then we have more grain on it. These are the settings if you want to see it. Then we have this glow. These are the settings for the glow. Then we have this watercolor effect. As you can see, it doesn't really change that much, but its smoothness is way too low. So if you wanna, you can add this too. I added so it doesn't look really that sharp. It just gives it a little bit of a smudge. Then we have this color corrector here. This is where all the magic happens. We have this color corrector set. I just move this over here, so it starts in the middle. Just move it over here to the red. However you like, it doesn't matter. And then we go settings and just keyframe the blend. So on frame 153, the blend is keyframed to 0, and then on frame 162, the blend is keyframed to 1, so everything turns red. Okay, then we have just this waviness over here. It's not really scale, is the 100, strength is at 0.2, speed is at 0.029, and it just adds those like little waves and imperfections, so everything is not really straight as an arrow. Then we just have merged this snowy particles over everything. These are the settings, and in the merge, these are the settings that I went with. So just size is increased a bit, gain is decreased to 0.118, and blend is decreased to 0.512, and the blend here is also decreased to 0.512. So the final thing looks something like this. It just has those little dust particles flying around, as you can see. If you follow my instructions and my exact keyframes and everything else, it should look like this. And if you want to learn how to edit like Magnets Media, then this video here is for you.